Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to Feedback Friday Art Edition. I am your host, Howdy. Hello, everyone. Welcome, La Pasa, Ken, Mike, GR Reaper, Rachel, Math Awakening cohort. Hello to you all. Welcome. Yes, it is an art stream. We are going to be working on a brand new birthday trapskin. It's going to be coming up a little bit. Figure we'd get cracking on that. Good morning, Rose. Hello, everyone. So I'm not going to be streaming all day today. We have kind of like town hall work thing at the end of the day or afternoon. So I'm going to be streaming until 1, so I can have enough time for lunch and then kind of wrap up stuff if I need to. Yeah, so it'll be a short one. So we're not going to be able to complete it, unfortunately. My week was like nice and light. I'm gonna create a kind of trap skin, and then figure out something for Feedback Friday. It'll be good. And then I ended up kind of like having a bunch of things kind of pile up on my plate, and I didn't end up getting to start the trap skin. So we're doing it today, and that's cool because I actually really like creating these with you guys, and especially when we get to all decide it together. Since I hadn't actually really started anything, we're going to run a poll, see what people would like to see. Because generally with trapskins, we try to, hazard a guess as to what people would enjoy to use by looking at kind of like what's the most popular traps in use recently. What ones don't have any use, like any trap skins from this style of event, or haven't had one in a while, etc., etc. So we'll be running something with that, and also I'm down for taking suggestions. So right now, if you have any ideas that you would like to see for like what trap, not necessarily what it would be, but like what trap you would like, feel free to throw that in the comments, and I'll try and add that to the straw poll. Yeah, hello Monica, Diamond, Mites, Caneb, and Volatide. Hello, all of you. I removed it this morning. It was really kind of like getting to that just kind of like puffed out, kind of just not kept phase, and instead of kind of like trimming it down, I decided to kind of like take it all the way down because I don't do that very often, and sometimes it's nice. Chrome School of Sharks. It's true, that one is the most popular currently, and is the most lacking in trap skins because it's pretty fresh. Thought Obliterator. I suppose it's not the most lacking. We've done a few of them now. Greetings from the Philippines. Hello to the Philippines. Map looks so pretty. Yay! I'm glad. A2 or F2 skins? I'm trying to A2, F2. I need to like brush up on some of the acronyms. Please inform me what A2 and F2 stand for. Queso Tactical Trap. Trying to remember, because there's like, I know there's like the Queso Geyser and the like Smoldering Sentinel. Is that the like the one with the kind of like stalagmites? Circulative Pursuing and Thought Obliterator. Okay. Oh, got it. Yeah. The tier 2 floating island traps. Okay. I get it now. Yeah. So that'd be Arcane tier 2, Forgotten tier 2. Okay. I get it. They don't have skins at all. Alright. Definitely add that. All right, so boop, boop, boom. Just double checking things. Yeah, okay. That one, I might need to dig to grab the file if we end up choosing that, which is doable. But yeah, I mean, in the case that it's like, well, I feel like it's certainly been long enough that people are running around with it equipped. It may not be the most popular, but that doesn't mean it doesn't deserve to get trapskins. So there you go. Stalaglite. All right, yeah, 14 years, right? It is crazy. MouseHunt's going to be able to drive soon. Wow. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Because like that's often how people think about that set of the traps, right? The names are kind of like all over the place and really kind of like eccentric. But like when you kind of boil it down to like, like law and tactical, it's a little easier to just kind of be like, oh yeah, I get it. So that makes sense. And I'm certain I've seen that before and made the connection then, but it just kind of didn't occur because it's kind of like in context it registers. But yeah, all right. Their unupgraded counterparts have 2 to 3 skins each, but yeah, the upgrades do not. Okay, I like that. Okay, well, I mean, it's up to you guys to decide. Like we lean on the like these are the popular ones, because that way it's like yeah, some people are gonna get used to this, but if it's like hey, this is what the live audience decided. You know, if you wanted a different one, you should show up and hang out and join in. Maybe we'll do it. Um, so let's see. Okay, circlet of pursuing. Yeah, that one doesn't have any, does it? Because some of the other tier 2 traps do have skins at this point. Yeah. Okay, cool. Like the unupgraded circlet, the thought one was it? No, the thought one's the forgotten. The arcane one, unupgraded, I believe, got a birthday trap skin last year. So yes, the top is Chrome's School of Sharks. It is. I think partially because uh, maybe from event people were kind of like it depends on kind of like the date range that I pulled from, but even like from recent hunting kind of days, it's still top. So seeking is the tier 1. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can dig up the short list of kind of like the most popular. Let's do that really quick, actually. Give me a second to actually grab what I need for that. Did I close that? I might have closed that. Where are you? Okay. I have to reopen that. Let's see. You and there we go. And we'll look at today. even though that's not necessarily the most accurate way to do it. Usually we kind of like span over a length of time. But just by pure popularity, um, today, nearly 11% of the player base has hunted with the Chrome School of Sharks trap. And then right behind that, well, not right behind, but like basically half of that exactly, Chrome Monstrobot, with 5.2% of players hunting with that. Got Infinite Labyrinth Trap, just under 5%. Chrome Celestial Dissonance Trap, same. Chrome Temporal Turbine, 0.1% below that, so 4.8%. And we have the Circlet of Seeking with 4.7, Dragon Slayer Cannon, Smoldering Stone Sentinel Trap, and Minorca. Minorca's still strong at 4.3% of players have hunted with that today. And it's kind of just grabbing like, hey, did a player hunt with this today? And kind of like popping that in there. If we look at kind of like the rating system, which I think factors into kind of like how many hunts have been taken, it changes just a little bit. So Chrome School of Sharks is still top at 10.8%, but then the second place goes to Chrome's Celestial Dissonance Trap at 4.9, Time Split Dissonance 4.3, Mysterious Unyielding No Onyx Rampant of Cascading Ampers. So Minorca is fourth on the like rating list. I'm not 100% sure how the rating works, but yeah, I think it is based off of like number of hunts kind of thing, like activity. Yeah, I know Minorca is still going. I think it also has the most trap skins, so we're safe from doing that one. But yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, like the upgrades beyond that are some of the first, well, not first, but like some of those hurdles that like require a level of dedication that like you have to like set that goal to actually go and get those those upgrades to it. While with the right charms and stuff, it still functions. But yeah, I mean it is it's a workhorse. It's pretty wild. But yeah, so yeah, Chrome School of Sharks, top tier. It doubles anything. So good on it. But yeah, let's see. Haven't had a Valentine's skin in recent times. That's a good point. I'm gonna kind of like keep an eye on that. Because yeah, Valentine's is probably actually the most minimal of like events for MouseHunt recent. Um, but it can be nice to just kind of like put in a nice little thing like that. It has been a while, so I think that's fair. I'll kind of keep that in mind. All right, so I think we've blabbered long enough. Let me actually create this poll. And I think this is right. So I posted the link in the chat. So I forget what straw poll actually, or what, not straw poll, but like what poll thing we've normally used actually lets us see like the live kind of like tally of it. So I feel like I'm using the wrong one for that. Oops, I should probably have a consistent one I use. Did that work? Let me see. I'm not seeing any updates on this. No votes. Okay, something wrong here. Circulated Pursuing doesn't even have one skin. Yeah, I mean that makes it a very kind of like high on the list. Okay, so seems like there might be some issues with that one. Someone says they voted. I don't see any results for it. And then someone else shared a very strange looking error. Yeah, okay. Let's use a different voting thing. Yeah, sorry about that. What have we used before that like updates live? Yeah, it's not saving the votes. Not working. Okay. Trying to remember. Because I think when we've done the ones that update live, someone else has just kind of like created the poll for me. Yeah, it's not working. Shucks. Okay. Well, okay. Well, we see what the options are that I've kind of just tossed up here. So we have Chrome School of Sharks, we have Monster Robot, or Chrome Monster Robot, Smoldering Stone Sentinel, Chrome Temporal Turbine, Dragon Slayer Cannon, Chrome Celestial Dissonance, Thought Obliterator, and Circleted Pursuing. So do we want to just kind of like throw our voices in the chat and just hope that it seems like there's a consensus? Or let's see, let's see. I don't know how to do it in YouTube. That'd be pretty cool if we could, though. I just really can't remember what other like website we use to do this, and like just looking for like make a poll, a vote thing. SurveyMonkey. Isn't that more like email stuff? SurveyMonkey. Yeah, I mean straw poll is what I tried to use there. Could have sworn that's what we have been using. I don't know how to use SurveyMonkey. Oh. Why are these so involved? Okay. Yeah, let's just make a vote in live here. Okay, so we got School of Sharks, Thought Obliterate, Circleted Pursuing. Okay. Dragon Slayer Cannon, 2 for Dragon Slayer Cannon. I'm like, what is DSC? Dragon Slayer Cannon, okay. I mean, maybe I can try the straw poll again, because it should just work, really. Doesn't make sense as to why it doesn't. Or maybe I need to use an account. Okay, we got Pursuing or Thought, so that's like at least 2 for those. 3 for Dragon Slayer, another for Pursuing. Okay, so it's between Slayer Cannon, Pursuing right now. Obliterator. Okay, we got, I think, 2 for Obliterator. Another for Pursuing. So Pursuing's pulled out ahead. Ooh, Chrome School of Sharks is catching up, though. We're at least, oh, that's 4. Okay, so Chrome is caught up. I'm just doing this into my head. It's going to be totally off, so I apologize. Wait, there should be a poll feature at the bottom of the MouseHunt chat? Oh, there is a button. Oh my goodness. Thank you for just... Okay, we can do this. We can do this. And it's so much easier. What the heck? Oh my goodness. Thank you for pointing out something that is just literally right in my face. All right, we can do this properly. What trap should get a birthday trap skin? Okay. Chrome School of Sharks. Chrome Monstrobot. Smoldering Stone Sentinel. I'm adding these even though I don't expect that they'll get any votes. Some of them anyways. Chrome But that, it's fine. Wait, can I only have 5 options? 4 options? All right, well, I'm gonna have to trim. So, smoldering stone, I haven't seen. Thought obliterator is definitely one. We've had Chrome School of Sharks quite a few times. We've had Dragon Slayer. And tacky glue. Feel like there's a 4th that was getting popular. All right, I was tallying it in my head and it already all fell out of there. That sieve of a brain I have. Circlet. Circlet of pursuing. All right. Okay. Do I even have that image to work off of? We'll see. Okay. Slayer, thought, and circlet. Okay. Ask community. Did that work? I don't see anything, so I hope it did. Oh, there we go. Neat. Okay, so a poll should appear. I mean, it should have already appeared by the time you hear me. Okay. Got some votes being tallied. Cool. This is neat. Suppose I can pop over to the art feed while that's being tallied up. Okay, make sure to get your votes in. I'll let it run for a minute and a half. So at 11:24 my time. It works. It works. Stinger seems to have a lack of trapskins. Okay. I mean, I don't think it got in the list, but I'm gonna add that to my little kind of potentials for the future. Was the Stinger like? No, that's not MouseHunt Wiki. That's Monster Hunter Wiki. What is that? Oh yes. Now, I believe that was a oh wait. No, that is an option. The law. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did just like there was like the relic hunter trapskin I did for it, I think. Actually, yeah, here it is. On the wiki it shows the jade one. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we have hit time, so I'm going to end the poll. And that ended. Did I get to see the full results? Huh. Where do I? Oh, there it is. Okay. Wow, that was actually pretty close. 51 votes, right on. All right, so Circlet of Pursuing, 31% versus Chrome School of Sharks, very close behind at 29%. Dragon Slayer Cannon, 21%, and Thought Obliterator, 17%. I actually had the idea that the Thought Obliterator was going to win it, but I was very wrong about that. Okay. So, Circlet of Pursuing, which is actually probably the most challenging one for me to do right now, because I think that asset I need to dig for. So I was like, oh, I hope that one is not the winner. But that's fine. I'm A-okay with this. Circlet of Pursuing. Actually, should be able to... mean, I could just do it this way, which is like not necessarily ideal, but the way that I like to do trap skins is I don't really use any of the original anyways. So can I just grab this and delete that? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna probably want to get the original just because of the no, you know, that might not be necessary. It might not be necessary. We're just using this as a reference, so that's okay. Okay, so we have our trap. I was like hoping it was going to be the other ones. Because this one, I think we did this last year. Not this one, but we did the previous version of it, the unupgraded one, right? But this one needs trap skin, so that's totally legit. Suppose we don't know the power types of the next new area. Yeah, I can't reveal that. Sorry. 14 on the wings or on the cloth. That's maybe something we could do. Wait, only 4. What am I not listening to? Thought obliterator deadlines. I can't scroll up. Now I can scroll up. Oh, YouTube polls are limited to 4. Okay. Seems that they are. Sting didn't even have one. Yeah, I wish that I had more options to add to the list. I tried to pick the 4 that seemed like it had the most kind of buzz about it. "49 votes from 43 viewers. How does that happen? Don't know. Re-vote on the top 2? I mean, we could do that because if people who didn't kind of like get their pick, I mean, I don't know. Does that seem fair to re-vote on the top 2? Yeah, ooh, that'd be neat. Thought Obliterator needs more of a Halloween-themed skin. That would be fun. Revote, but all 4 options are the Thought Obliterator. Need new Forgotten Area for Obliterator to become more popular. That's an interesting point, yeah. Okay. But yeah, so going back to the suggestion of putting like 14 on it, it's potentially cool to like have that direct reference, but I think we kind of like started to avoid adding specific like dates to things, just because we like to be able to kind of like make them more generically useful. So you know they can still be something that you collect in the future. Though you know it's not always the case, and sometimes it's cool to have that. So maybe we'll do that, but maybe not. It might depend on like what we actually do for the design, right? Which unfortunately today is going to be a bit shorter, so I think we're really only just going to kind of like figure out what the concept is and loosely kind of sketch it and start to render it, but it's not going to be complete today. These, especially this trap, I feel is going to take a little bit of effort because Lauren made it so elegant and beautiful that I feel like I'm going to need to compete with that. So it's going to take some doing. Balloons are a no-go. Yeah, because the other one has balloons, and I don't want to just keep doing that. So I agree with that. Revote is a good idea. Okay, people want to revote. 1 vote difference. Revote on the top 2 would be fair. Okay, there's a few people saying. See, I mean, that's true. Chrome School of Sharks does already have trapskins that are available. The thought pursuer mazes. Seeker, pursuer, not thought, brain, too many things going on. This one that we're looking at does not have any trapskins, so it does warrant them. The only reason to re-vote on the top 2 is if you're upset you lost. Don't redo votes. I think that that's actually the appropriate thing, is to just, like, it makes sense in a voting system that that's kind of like how you do it. I think that in some situations, like, paring down voting is actually a really good way to do it. But we're not like looking at kind of like all the, creating a politics kind of thing, trying to vote the right people into power here. This trap doesn't have a trap skin. We'll figure it out. Also, it's one that I'm like, this is gonna be a challenge, and those are always the ones that I like to push myself to do, because I like challenge, and that's how I figure stuff out and grow. So we're doing it. Even if it was only 1 vote off and it wasn't the one you wanted, I'm in the boat with you there. But we're going to get through it together, or at least get us started together. That thing that we should do, because it's been half an hour of streaming and not a single brush stroke has gone down. So what do we want to do? What do we want to see? We're not doing balloons. I'm going to rule that out. No balloons. What would be very birthday? We have like gifts, confetti, cake, candles, I guess, because cake. Bubbles, like, I don't know if that's very birthday, but like ribbons and stuff like that. Let's see. Voting tells you what to avoid. That's an interesting perspective on it. Oh yeah, party hats. Skins to celebrate MouseHunt's history. Ooh, instead of like the super generic birthday kind of like accoutrement or whatever you would call it. That's interesting. Kazoos, yeah. Gift bags, chocolate and champagne. Maybe we'll like do some more bubbly when MouseHunt reaches that age. Something to do with the factory or the vending machine. That's an interesting idea. Any special birthday nuances when in Canada? I don't really think that Canada specifically does anything that's like very Canadian when it comes to birthdays. There's like surprise parties and stuff that people will do, or yeah, I mean, like gifting. Yeah, I feel like it's probably just kind of like general Western traditions around birthdays. Like we don't have like, all right, gather around the maple the maple tree and tap it for your birthday syrups. Piñata is another thing. Yeah, I'm not certain though. I'm not someone who's well versed in various cultural kind of things, like, because I'm aware of things like Japan and other parts of the world don't like celebrate the same holidays the same ways. if at all. Like a big one to me is Halloween, but it's like non-existent in other places. So it's kind of, you know, and like Lunar New Year is not something that we, you know, directly celebrate in kind of like Canada that I've been kind of like privy to. I know that people do, of course, but yeah, obviously it's like much bigger in like a lot of different kind of areas. So yeah, it'd be cool if there was like really Canadian kind of like just celebration things that I could kind of point to, but I'm a little blind to these things, unfortunately. So it's something to kind of try and be better about. Yeah, pinata could kind of work for this. It's got this like floating element with wings, maybe. I know we've done them in the past. Also, like thinking of the power type is also something to consider, and this being arcane, it's kind of like this very magical, kind of like not electric, but like, you know, uses magical kind of forces to kind of operate. So if we can kind of like keep it in that universe, that's neat. Pillars could be stacked robots holding cakes. I suppose I don't need to make it that invisible until we actually start sketching. What? Google says nose greasing and coin in cake. Is that a thing that people did or do? Coin in cake sounds dangerous. And I'm not entirely sure what nose greasing is. Don't know if I want to know. Cheese fountain. Yeah, that like cheese fountain and stuff would be kind of like referencing the kind of like the factory better, which is kind of neat. Because yeah, we are bringing the birthday back. The factory. It's a nice little kind of way to get a lot of super brie for you guys, and various other cool cheeses. It's something that, you know, we believe might be kind of reaching its kind of like limit for returning as is though. So, you know, we'll be kind of like looking into either changing it up in the future or altogether, but we'll have to reach that when we reach that. A lot of kind of like efforts and stuff have been kind of putting more towards the future of the platform. You know, kind of a lot of resources are, you know, figuring out kind of like updating to V4 kind of thing, which when we can get there is going to make a world of difference for us and for you guys. So it's a big priority. So hence why there's been less kind of like elements through the event season that have been significant. So, you know, if that's been something that's been kind of like a bit like frustrating for any of you, you know that it's not, you know, born through like, oh, we're just lazy about it. You know, we try to make sure that the events are like, no, there's still something that people will get out of this that is worth keeping. And if that's feasible, then we'll be able to kind of like keep going on these major kind of like really significant updates to kind of like make the game better in kind of more permanent ways. But you know, we always, every event we ever do, we'll dig into and kind of like try to bring it to, you know, a better place and kind of rethink anything that needs to be rethought. But yeah, always like give us that feedback though. Like if it's like, yeah, I don't want to see these anymore, you know, we'll keep that into mind. And if we need to kind of like shift gears and like build a new thing, we'll figure that out. Goodness, I am not drawing anything yet. I really should be. Right. Oh, that's a fun idea. Okay, so two droids trying to hit the pinata in the middle. Okay, okay. So having like a magical pinata is definitely kind of like something that could be neat. So I'm just really, oh, I'm sketching on the wrong layer. Whoops. Okay. Really, really kind of rough ideas. But like, what if it's this kind of like unstable, magical pinata that looks like it's just about to like just erupt into like a dangerous magical explosion, and there's just, yeah, two droids just trying to wail on this thing. I think that's actually pretty fun. Speaking of arcane, yes, incredibly well, like, made. The quality of it is phenomenal. I'm very impressed. So yeah, I have seen it a few times, in fact, because I'm just really, I think that the like the art design and storytelling, really good, real good. Okay, so I feel like trying to think of like what would be like the best way to show this kind of like momentum here. I think kind of like a little bit more squash and stretch. Or like it's kind of more squashed this way and stretched this way to kind of like show it's this kind of like big wind up. In which case maybe this foot is kind of doing something more like that. This is really extended. Yeah, that feels a lot more kind of like gonna give it a really good thwack. All right. The scaling on the droid itself, I think it might need to go up a bit. Just because we're working on a regular base size, so this isn't a kind of like scaled up trap. So I feel like these little guys are probably a bit closer to this size. Well, maybe a bit smaller is fine. I like the idea that they're just wailing on this like very, very like dangerous looking magical pinata. They do certainly have that kind of like minion-esque personality, which is fun because these designs actually were pre that movie. Despicable Me, is it? I think that's what it is. But they kind of got that same energy, which is fun. Okay, so I think that there's stuff to tweak with this. That arm looks wrong. To like make it right, but I think it's getting that idea. Like maybe if this arm is pulling forward, I don't want to waste all day just kind of fiddling with this droid's arms. Seems like a ineffective waste time. Let's see. Yeah, +1 for dangerous looking magical pinata. Exactly. Alright. But yeah, I feel like got the kind of like the thwack kind of direction going. I've gone away from this kind of like shape that existed from the pillar back here. So maybe we can get this one actually smacking it to kind of like create this shape here. So like maybe there's just this kind of like burst of energy kind of like rippling out from it where it's being hit. That's kind of interesting. See, the thing is like I would not have had this idea at all if it wasn't for the stream. So you know, like that's exactly why I was like, well, if I don't manage to like get this created during the week when I was supposed to have, at least by doing it on stream, I'm probably going to get something pretty wild and fun. And actually, yeah, you know what? I think the other time I made a pinata-based trap, it was entirely in your hands stream. There was one of the traps. I said, "All right, I am like releasing all control of this, and I will only like use input from the chat to create this." And we managed to make like um, a pinata full of C4 and like like yeah, it was pretty wild. But yeah, it was I think like one of the first art streams where I was just like, all right, this is all your fault. So that's fun. Okay, so for this one, because it's thwacking it here, I want this like big kind of, you know, pushing energy here and then like 90-degree to this character, which in perspective is approximately there, this kind of like compression happening. So it's like squeezing down here to kind of like pull that in and then compressing on this side, so you're kind of getting this kind of like motion. So they're kind of like opposing each other right now. So pull that knee in. And his scale, or its scale here is off as well, so I'm gonna have to tweak that. Again, these are just like loose kind of scribbles, as they really should be at this point. We're just kind of sketching it out to see what we can do. See if we have something that works. And you just kind of tweak until you're happy with it, you know? So like, would that be flung forward? Would this be flung forward? I kind of feel like this one would have it kind of like pulling forward, because if it's like reaching back, but then again, okay, so like right now it's springing out, right? So it's after it's kind of compressed and now it's expanding. Like I do feel like maybe it would have been a bit forward, so that kind of works. The birthday party pinata bonanza. Yeah. That was the 4th birthday. Oh, that was 10 years ago. Oh, like exactly 10 years ago, effectively. I suppose it was maybe a bit later on, because I don't think that I was kind of like creating stuff this far in advance for events. But yeah, 10 years ago that we made that. Wild. Why old? Why old? Indeed. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I think this would also be back because it has sprung forward. Because it's like the antenna is kind of lagged behind the motion. So in this case, it's definitely just kind of like sprung forward. But in this case, it's like right at the point where it's starting to spring forward. So maybe the antenna has just kind of gotten to the center point, and then when it does spring forward, it'll lag behind here, which is sort of what is happening on this one here. So, you know what? I'm too nuanced on the details in a case where we're literally like not even going in this direction for certain. So, okay, but still, I think the scale is good on this one, so I feel like this one needs to go up a bit. Oh, that's it. I think that's good right here. Even lean them forward a bit. There you go. That has like a good kind of like crunching into it feeling. And I'll even deform that kind of like arm here a little bit, like where there are these kind of like rings going around it. Maybe it'll be just kind of like deflecting it a little bit there. One should be throwing cake. I like how chaotic my my birthday trapskins end up being at times. Yeah, birthday pinata, party pinata bonanza. No, I think in 2021 we got a the trap skin for the unupgraded version of this trap, actually. If I'm not mistaken. Or was that the year before? No. Because, like, floating islands. Yeah. 10. I mean, you know what? This is even more appropriate, being the 10-year anniversary for the pinata trap. Very good. Exactly. That's why we decided to go this direction. I'm more confident in this direction now. Could be a wizard slash archmagus droid behind the pinata. I've always enjoyed that trap a lot, actually, and like the skins that I've done for that. I think my favorite one was the rooster on head. It's just very fun. Do a little bit of that like reverberating kind of effect here. Not something that I tend to draw into stuff, but I feel like here it's perfect. Yes, do not hit slash grab. That's right. Classic. Pulling that image up now. Yeah, do not hit slash grab. That, yep. Yeah, the actual like design of the pinata as well is definitely directed by the audience, the player, the live stream. The like unicorn with the like horn with the laser coming out of it, and just like an arrow in its foot, and just monocle, mustache, rainbow, everything. Yeah, it was great. Good times. So yeah, gotta continue the tradition of exploding pinatas. So in that case, I feel like we can kind of like give it that like proper pinata kind of like structure where it's kind of like built out of these kind of layered tissue papers. And then I want this kind of like magical energy to kind of like be kind of like almost pulsing out from inside that. So it looks like, well, maybe you don't want to crack into that. Kind of like how in the original there's that C4 window cut out to kind of like reveal like, yeah, it's just filled with explosives. So similar danger vibe is great. Also, you know what? Why worry about antennas when droid should have party hat on? Obs. Like I didn't even see this in the chat. If someone already suggested it, like brilliant. But I was just like, this has to happen. And I mean, technically, I should be like, all right, tell me what I'm drawing, and we'll just do it. Doesn't matter. To kind of, you know, honor how we did that a decade ago. So we can do that. If you guys have things you want to see in here, let me know and I'll figure it out. I might regret this, but it is what it is. I feel like I want it to be just kind of like floating above just a little bit. So I'll have to actually read the chat. I'm terrible at that. So if I miss your suggestion, feel free to repeat it. It's all good. Well, one should be throwing cake. One should be throwing cake. I'm just going to make this really messy and complicated, aren't I? Go home, droids, you're drunk. I'm really curious who like programmed these because they can be very rowdy. Not sure if I like the foot going like right to the very edge here. I kind of liked what it was doing. Super unstable and explodey looking stuff. Yeah, birthday celebrations are chaotic. Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking trying to like bring some of the Easter egg of the pinata from a decade ago into here to kind of like really honor it. I didn't see it going this way, but absolutely have to do that, right? Polka dot bandana to cover their eyes. Yeah. Okay, I like that. Okay. Definitely. Smart. That is another thing about it is like you're supposed to be blindfolded for this activity, so it would make sense to do that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the foot going right to the very edge of the screen where it like crops it just at the edge, right? That feels awkward. So I'm thinking I can just kind of scooch. Just scooch it. And I think that actually lines up with the where that pillar was a bit better anyways. I think it'll be fun to kind of like create this visual distortion effect, but that won't be doable until like the end of the actual creation of this, just because I'll need to do that with like the fully rendered design. Let's see. So also, I guess this one should have blindfold kind of. And then like instead of these kind of gemstones, like yeah, it could be just kind of like bits of cake, like they just had a food fight. Because I want to reflect the kind of like the shapes of the original. And also like it has wings and stuff. Is there anything that we can do with that? Rainbow background lights. Same outline for the mystical light radiation. Yeah, like these beams. I think we can still use that kind of like distorted kind of like rainbow light beam effect for that kind of like creating this arcane kind of like dangerous energy within. So I'll probably try and use that element in it. Also, I just totally realized that these bandanas actually reference the ribbon in a way. So that's kind of neat. A rainbow unicorn flying past them. Oh no, it begins. I like need to like avoid reading chat so I don't have to do all those things. Okay. It's beautiful. With its monocle and mustache. The banner. Yeah, like happy birthday banner kind of thing. Can we make the colors match the prestige base? Someone has a plan. I mean, those will get paired together, so you're not wrong. What a majestic creature, isn't it? Sky soft silken bandanas. I like that. That's a good idea. I like it. You want to bring back the do not hit / grab sign and then have cake covering the knot. So it's just do hit / grab. Yes, the Derbicorn in all of its majestic glory. So we'll probably include kind of like, like the environmental background. I don't think I'll be kind of sketching that into this today anyways. Well, maybe I will. We have an hour. We've literally just scribbled some droids whacking an orb. But yeah. I mean, do we want to keep the wings on it, or do we want to transform them? Yeah, there we go. That's what happened to it. The pinata from 10 years ago exploded and shot it into the stratosphere, and that's where we have recovered it. And it still hasn't been cracked open fully, so they've got to keep working at it. Okay. So instead of wings, a banner that goes do not hit / grab. I see. I mean, it is a good reference. It is a good reference. Even if it might kind of feel out of place, if you know it's kind of like origins, then it's kind of awesome, right? Now, making that fit is the question. Like, we should probably make it feel like a birthday banner. And I'm trying to see if I can make it like feel like the wings, but I don't know if that's gonna work. it's gonna like cover the main part of the joke, right? Yeah, slash grab. And I just do not hit grab. So might not fit that way. I'm a little tempted to just bring back like the original signage. Just that classic kind of board, but like again, it would be covered up by this character here, where I would want it to be. I mean, it could be like, something like that, right? And then maybe there's like a bit of like cake kind of barely covering that up, so you can still read it. Right? Maybe like that. Partially just read. Yeah, covered by thrown cake, exactly. And you know, like it could just be like it doesn't necessarily feel as connected like how there is the like sign post down here kind of thing in the original, but maybe. Yeah, exactly. Like making it the ribbon of the original trap is a good call, because then it's like it makes sense as to why it exists in the trap skin in the first place. So we can do that, and even if it's like more obscured, because it's literally there as an Easter egg, it's like you don't need to necessarily get it if you don't know what it is or what it says, right? So maybe we don't need to worry about it being super legible. And it's just kind of like more like a tag in a store or something that's kind of clipped on to the edge of this. Could be. I'll just tilt it up just enough to see the hit there. Oop. I think that could work. Like make it more like one of those like to/from signs, maybe. It's like clipped on to this. It's a bit busy with that actually. And then this feels very like dissonant and strange, but if we do this, where we just kind of like maybe tweak this just enough for it to be like the logo for this. right? We're kind of, you know, drifting away from the ribbon from the original trap, but I think this will be okay. Okay, so then we take this glorious, majestic beast and just kind of like make it like a logo or something like that. So it'd be like this embossed kind of thing, and maybe like this card itself is like this nice kind of purple paper with like gold lettering, and then like this embossed into it gently. The Dippercon. Something like that. Not sure if that reads very well, but we can tweak it, you know. All right, that feels slightly better. All right, so magical colored flowing ribbons from the piñata to show motion. Yeah, like just kind of like almost a little bit of gravity kind of pulling down, but like it's kind of like lifted from being jostled and or just magical energy kind of coming off of it. I like it. It's just so like aggressive. It's funny. Okay. Let's make sure that that is more like cake splatter. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty decent with this. So it's like a nice kind of like tag attached to it. Do not do the thing you're doing. And we'll clean up all that font when we're actually doing the render for it, so don't need to worry too much about it right now. And okay, so we have kind of like the orb. I feel like that's going to look pretty cool when we actually like get around to rendering it properly. But what do we want to do for kind of that wingspan and perhaps like the cloudy backdrop? Do we want to do anything special with that? Making the wings like a bow on the piñata is a great idea. Because yeah, I mean, it's a very birthday thing we could do for sure. Nice big kind of birthday ribbon. That's like a fun kind of decorative wrapping thing, is to kind of like tie it up with a bow, right? Very classical kind of way to kind of hold the wrapping together. I think it looks nice too. But that does reference the wings well enough for sure. Like it's a good idea for it. Like that. I like it. Okay. So that will work there. Can also give us like a nice kind of contrasting backdrop for it if we need it. If we want to make like the actual piñata portion brighter, this can kind of give us something to kind of like put that against, to like make that glow, you know? Like I think that'll be really cool. Yeah, I feel like that's good. Okay, and then maybe we just kind of like, for the actual atmosphere of the piece, just kind of like keep that same kind of cloudy, outdoor kind of, you know, sky feel. I think that that works pretty well. I don't think we need to like totally go crazy on all the different elements. Yeah, no, I mean, like I see what's being said in the chat a little bit. MouseHunt is a universe to escape the real world, so we don't need to bring that here. Although it's fair to kind of, you know, have some kind of respect around it. I get that. But yeah, there's enough kind of terrible stuff. We don't want to bring that into our places of joy if we don't have to. But yeah, so ribbon. I like it. I like it. So that's feeling like it kind of like somewhat doesn't really feel much like the original trap. What do you think? Does it feel too far off base? Have we lost the thread? It's one thing that Clip Studio does poorly versus Photoshop is like moving selection and like being able to edit that selection as it's being moved. In Photoshop, I could like make a selection, move it, erase parts that I want to erase, and it won't affect what it's currently over top of. But in Clip Studio, if I like make a selection and I move it over something else, and I want to just erase where it's overlapping, the best way to do that actually is to just cut it out and paste it onto a separate layer temporarily, so that I can do this and then this. And then I can merge that. Okay, that's not a terrible way to have to deal with it. Okay. All right. Floating ribbons conveys more power. Yeah, that's a good point. Floating. Instead of like big kind of like lumpy ribbons, they should be kind of like more kind of just emanating off of it. Is that the idea? Just some juice. Yes, exactly right. The Sailor Moon Power Amulet. Love it. Oh, I see, I see. So we can fit 14 into it, but like in a way that isn't like, you know, obnoxiously like, wait, this is like a reward I can collect, but it's not that birthday year, but like putting, you know, like this as, you know, an element in it, and might has an interesting idea to like show forming cracks as kind of like the Roman numeral 14 to kind of like do that. Even if it doesn't show up as like cracks necessarily, I think we can hide that in there well enough. Just put it on the droids. Yeah. Yeah, we can squeeze that in somehow. We'll figure that out. For sure. I like it. I'll figure it out. Because we only have half an hour before I'm gonna head off for the day. Gonna have lunch and then just kind of make sure everything's in order for the weekend. Yeah, could even, you know, be like something like that if we wanted to kind of like put it more obviously somewhere, where it's like, what does it mean? I don't know. Okay, but like looking at the ribbon, oh, you know what we haven't done? It's flipping it to like really get a good sense of kind of volumes and shapes and stuff. I feel like this tag here really is awkward, where it kind of implies it's looping around this, especially if this character is winding up to hit the outer edge of this, right? This feels like it should be like he's smacking it already. So I want this to kind of like fall further into the backdrop. You know what? I wonder, could it be on these ribbons? maybe this one down here, just kind of hidden, like do not hit slash grab. But yeah, like I agree. Like I want the ribbon to be kind of like pushing out from the orb as well. But like right now, this does not work for me here. At least where that tag loop is wrong. It's going to interfere with this character too much. Even if I like move it all the way back to the back, it still feels like it could be in the way. It's just very, like in terms of busyness in the piece, it just kind of feels like it's in the way. So, all right, I'm gonna duplicate this just so I can mess around significantly. Well, let's grab this. So we're running low on time, and I want to make this, you know, something we create as much as I can. So I'm gonna try and just work out all the stuff that still needs to be worked out. Okay, so instead of these looping ribbons, which kind of like already defy gravity on their own because of their structure, if it's more just these kinds of ribbons like flowing off of it, maybe that's more interesting. Let's bring the sketch back, but drop that quite a bit. So it still is like the wings, like, ooh, all right, come on, computer. I don't know if we want these to be like shredded like the originals ribbons. Maybe like showing more fabric distortion to like help realize what it is, because that doesn't feel like a ribbon up there. Did not work. But if it's like a lot more turbulent, then that probably feels more energetic, right? Which is probably a good thing. Like there's these kind of bursts of energy pulsing out of it, causing it to ripple and wave in the wind. And we could just have more of them too, to kind of like fill in that space a bit. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I feel like maybe that's a little more kind of like, yeah, exactly. The hit grab joke needs to be more subtle. I agree. I think it could definitely be more subtle. Okay. Yeah, I like the idea of all these ribbons kind of emanating from it. And they actually, you know, it might work well, is actually if they were tied off on these rings themselves. That might make more sense, right? Like something more like this. Even if we don't get the text in there, I think I still want to have like the Derpcorn icon somewhere on it, so like even just like on one of these ribbons we could just have it kind of like there or something like that, you know. So this, like with them emanating out like that, that does actually give more kind of like of this really kind of intense energy. So I feel like this is a pretty good idea. And then we'll, you know, make it look like very celebratory kind of colors, and you know, it's like streamers, right? They're often used to decorate. Birthday party is wild. Exactly. Rowdy droids. I feel like the actual kind of like waves would be, though the way that this would be folding, be more like this direction. It's coming towards us a bit. Something more like that. I don't want to lose too much time on the ribbons, to be honest. I feel like that's just something I'll figure out. Okay, but I think that's a pretty cool idea. It definitely gives it a lot of like neat energy. And I think that it's kind of like clear what's going on with this pinata idea of them being blindfolded with these kind of sticks and thwacking it. So I feel like that's successful. It's good. Even that alone is a reference. So not bad. And okay, what else do we need for this before I kind of sign off in 20? Yeah, the prismatic light, kind of shifting it to more neon blue energy radiating, which is kind of like one of the things we do to kind of like invoke that arcane magic, right? So yeah, I totally think that we'll have something like that coming to this piece. Like the way that I'm picturing it is the actual like orb here is kind of like that purple tissue paper from the original, but like in between all of the actual layers of tissue paper, there's just this kind of like energy kind of visible between the cracks kind of thing. So it'll have that kind of like energetic glow coming from within. just kind of emanating out a little bit. So it's gonna feel magical and dangerous, which is why we have the droids whacking it. Good old reckless droids. And it's like these rings are trying to protect it. Yeah, the thing is, with the stand, like I do like that idea, right? But I don't know, does it get in the way? Maybe it doesn't. If I make it small enough right here, it might be just enough. Honestly, just like doing the classical bit here is maybe perfect. It's just I was worried that this character here on the right would be kind of like where it needs to be visible, because there's just so much happening right here. But with this kind of like impact here, I can distort the visuals and kind of like lower some of the visual noise by just kind of almost blending it in a way to just kind of like take down some of that intensity and contrast. Like overall, it's just going to be like high energy trap. It's going to be really just kind of intense to look at. No thanks to these insane ribbons kind of just screaming off of the thing. So I might pull that back as well. But I think with the right rendering kind of technique, I might be able to make this signage work actually. Instead of being too much. I'll try it. Because I actually like it just being referencing the like very original kind of way we did it. That's kind of cute. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen the original trap, a bunch of us have been referencing. Search the MouseHunt wiki for the birthday party pinata bonanza. That was one of the live streams where I just kind of gave full control to the chat and literally tried to render every single suggestion that came through, which unfortunately we do not have the time for. But I think I've tried to include as much as I can. So hopefully I've accomplished a version of that. It's at least reference to the original, which I like. So that's not really centered, right? This is where it's on the base. It does need to kind of. If this is the center line for this character, I don't want it to be like literally in line, right? Which is why I'm like, okay, well, it might need to go behind the character, which might not be bad. Again, we want it to be subtle, so. Like this. Again, with the visual effect of like this kind of distortion coming from this impact here. I can use that to kind of like make this less obnoxious or weird. So then I need to flip this back to right. I can play with the like font and placement of things to make that work. Right? That should be doable. And then just like a little bit of cake splatter. Do. That arm is like real long, huh? Can we have the background like a different color, like the chrome sphinx trap? I mean, yeah, if we want to just go pedal to the metal insanity, like that one, the vaporwave is incredible. So yeah, it doesn't need to be like an outdoor kind of. Like I do still want it to live in some kind of reality. Like it could be a night, evening. Like it could be inside of a party hall or something like that, I suppose. But you know, I don't want to necessarily make it a high effort trap for the background element. But I get that you don't want the same backdrop. So that's fine. I can figure something out maybe. But you know, like it's not necessarily a lot of traps that have just kind of like a day, a beautiful, sunny, you know, somewhat cloudy day. You know, other traps that do have backdrops are like rift ones, so you get that kind of like moody, cloudy kind of activity. So I feel like that's the norm more so than, you know, bright day. So I don't know. Sunset. Ooh, sunset could be nice. Yeah, actually, one of the ribbons kind of covering over the knot could be that too. I like the cake just chaos. Personally, I think that's fun because it kind of matches the droid's energy. They just like are they'll probably have like cake on them too. Like they just are just going ham and like just their party mode has been activated. I can have this foot off the ground. Kind of looks maybe, or is it better if that one's planted and then this one's even like off the ground because it's just leaning into it with its full body weight. Right? I don't know. I feel like an animator would know these things, so. Something to learn. Like this way it's like all that force is being pushed through, whereas if it's lifted off, feels like maybe it's kind of like it's not transferring it anymore. Ooh, thank you, Michelle. Copy link. Yeah, exactly. The droids are on droids have a sugar high. They are just like rowdy children, I think. Cake fight. Okay. So I'll leave this in the file just as kind of like a reminder. Same with the Roman numerals, to try and work those in for myself somehow. Like, I think doing the Roman numerals in this kind of like crackling energy is something that I could figure out. Otherwise, just kind of like hiding it on a ribbon, you know, where it's just subtle enough, or the kind of like, I like the derpicorn. Like, I want to put the derpicorn somewhere. But it'd be a very subtle pass on that or something like that. What else? What else? We have 7 minutes to kind of try and resolve anything before I'm left to my own devices. I need to kind of try and figure this one out. Yeah, prismatic light beams forming the 14. That's true. Yeah, rowdy teens maybe. Does seem appropriate that they have this kind of like just too much destructive energy at that age. One droid is reading the sign like, wait a minute. More cake debris. Pieces of the damaged ribbon on the floor. That's fair. Just shredding this. Maybe there's even like a piece of it kind of like wrapped up on the bat, which actually helps with that kind of like motion, visual motion kind of idea. Yeah, just like ribbon torn and discarded. And I mean, like, another option is to like have the ribbons kind of spell it out on the floor or something like that if we wanted. I'll figure it out. I'll try and even hide it a little bit, so you have to kind of maybe discover it if it's not too obvious. But I'll make sure it's included. This part overlap, sure. Doesn't quite feel right. Okay. Getting obsessed over ribbon folds. Not important. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Shredded ribbon could form that. Yeah, it could be on the bandana, could be like an outfit that they have, like all kinds of ways to put it in there. I'm not worried about fitting it in. We'll figure that out. Is there any elements that do feel like we need still to represent in this sketch so I don't miss it? I like this kind of just energy, like that'll be fun to kind of try and render, I think. We'll see if I manage it. Visual distortion is an interesting challenge. It's kind of like, I think I'll need to render the whole thing and then do that as like almost a liquefy at the very end. Once it's rendered, I can kind of just like smear the render here to kind of like warp it just enough to kind of give that effect of this like pulse. So I'm legit excited to render this thing once I kind of get to that point. And if it wasn't kind of something that I was supposed to have done this week, I would be like, maybe I'll do Feedback Friday next week and render it live, because that'd be pretty cool. Unfortunately, I did not have it set up that way, so some of the tissue paper could actually be kind of like tearing off and flying off to like give even more of a sense of like, uh-oh, it's getting more kind of like chaotic and dangerous or something, you know. So that I think it has like a lot of energy. I'm not worried about it feeling powerful anymore. That's definitely going to be there. You know, is it something that I think a lot of people are going to want to use as their version of this trap a lot? Like, it's super kind of like birthday, right? So part of me is like, is it too much birthday? Because it's a trap that people use because it's an awesome trap. But it doesn't have any other trap skins, and it's nice to have options and like ones that, you know, you can kind of keep equipped beyond just kind of like, well, all right, I'll use it during an event because I'm celebrating that event. But then, you know, you're at an event location where you don't necessarily want to use this specific trap because it may not. I mean, there'd be nothing wrong with this trap there. It'd be very good there, but you know, going back to the floating islands, are people going to want to keep it? Is it going to bring much value? I know I would. I would keep this equipped for a while. But the original is pretty amazing, so yeah. Although I suppose just kind of like really generic birthday would have that same issue anyways, so this is at least silly and fun. So when you feel that, it's a good one to switch to. Okay, so we are down to the final minute. I think we're just gonna have to wrap here. I'm gonna put a Larry link in the chat for those who have hung out. I appreciate you very much. Yeah, it does actually have that kind of like ultimate charm feel to it, which is actually kind of it feels like it's that dangerous and that powerful, right? So that's kind of cool. It's not supposed to be necessarily a direct reference, of course, but that works. All right, so Larry link is in the chat. Well, thank you very much, Mites. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I mean that's why I like it. I like doing this, you know. It looks like extreme Dragonbane charm. Yeah, totally feel that now. And that's kind of like how the render will kind of come out of it, I think, where it's facing you, you can kind of see down into the crackle and like core of it, whereas like as the sphere rotates away, that's obscured behind these kind of shapes coming out of it. So yeah, I think that that's kind of like going to be the feel of it. It won't have that level of kind of like gritty dragon kind of coloration to it, but it'll be much brighter and more kind of um, you know, pinatas, tissue paper, which is pretty see-through. It's weird the copying pasting in Clip Studio has black inserted where alpha exists. That's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, this is the pinata trap from 10 years ago that we're referencing. So pretty crazy. All right, well, it is past 1. I'm gonna go on lunch, and I'll maybe work on this if I can before meeting stuff. But thank you all very much for coming and hanging out. I know it was a short one for me, and we didn't really get to any rendering, but I really think that thanks to you all, we found something that I would not have discovered at all on my own. So that's awesome, and you're awesome. So I thank you and appreciate you, and I hope to see you next stream. Probably be Dave next week, but if not, I'll see you then. And if not, I'll see you in 2 weeks probably. And if not, I'll see you someday. So, hope to. All right, take care, everyone. Stay safe, and happy hunting. I'll catch you later. Bye.